Did you see what just happened? Trump gave yet another disastrous speech last night, desperately trying to get attention, but got completely drowned out by a power move by Vice President Kamala Harris. At some points, he could barely even speak. Now, I'm going to show you a little of Trump's very bizarre event, and then I'm going to share how VP Harris flipped the script on him instantly. This was absolutely masterful. But before I get into it, I want to make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that like button right now, and remember to add the MeidasTouch podcast on audio. Okay, so Trump spoke at the Israeli-American Council National Summit in Washington, D.C. To be clear, this was a different event than the anti-Semitism event I reported on earlier, but during this one, Trump continued to threaten the Jewish people in the audience. First, let me start here. Trump kept saying that he won the debate by a lot, which obviously he lost. He is never going to get this debate out of his head. It is going to haunt him the rest of his life. Watch.
And let me tell you, I won that debate by a lot. By a lot. You know, I walked off the stage, I said, man, did I beat her, even though I was against 3 people. I kept saying, I said, what are you doing?
Then Trump was really struggling to speak. He couldn't even get out words. Here, he kept confusing the word partnered with pandered, it appears. Check this out.
Kamala's partnered and she's partnered with anybody she can. You hear the things coming out of the administration. You hear what they're saying. But she pandered.
Trump continued to whine about the debate during the summit, of course, speaking to the issues that matter most to the American people. Trump lamented that he didn't attack the anchors enough and complained that it was very hard and it was 3-on-1.
I only have one regret, that I wanted to be elegant and I didn't want to attack the anchors, which would have been very easy to do. So I didn't attack them, but I should have attacked them because it was 3-on-1. It's like a basketball game, 3-on-1. It's very hard. But we did well.
Then Trump told the audience of Jewish Americans that he would blame Jewish people if he didn't win, and then called his political opponents enemies.
If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60% of the people are voting for the enemy.
Then Trump whines, saying he did so much for Israel and complains that he only received 24% of the Jewish vote. Watch this.
With all I have done for Israel, I received only 24% of the vote. But I understood that. That was in 2016. And, you know, it's one of those things I thought I'd do much better. I happen to have a Jewish daughter. I have a Jewish son-in-law. I have 3 Jewish grandchildren. I thought I'd do much better. But I only got 24%.
You hang out with a bunch of Nazis, you tell Jewish people they need to get their heads examined, and all of a sudden Jewish people don't want to vote for you. Funny how that works, Donald. Anyway, let's check out what Ian Sams, who works at the Kamala Harris campaign, was saying. He commented on Donald Trump's comments, writing, "Tonight, VP Harris was on national TV with Oprah, talking to survivors of gun violence, the family of a woman who died under an abortion ban, Pennsylvanians concerned about affordability, sharing her plans for a new way forward, and Trump was saying this," and he was sharing the clip that I just showed you. And so, as this was going on, Vice President Harris completely knocked Trump out of the spotlight with this power move and used it as an opportunity to share her policies and her values with the voters. She participated in this event called Unite for America. It was a free-flowing online virtual town hall hosted by Oprah and featured tons of celebrities and supporters. When I tuned in, there was something like 300,000 people watching. Here are some of the highlights. Kamala Harris was speaking about her small business plans to give them a $50 tax deduction. Currently, it's at $5,000, and she really roasted Trump here too. Check this out.
And so part of my plan is to give startup small businesses a $50,000 tax deduction to start up their small business. Right now it's $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So that's part of my plan.
That's a teeny tiny business.
That's a business in
teeny tiny business.
It's a concept of a business, right?
Yes.
You know where I'm going.
And it's still on paper with the $5,000.
Right.
It's still on paper.
It just hasn't happened, right?
Kamala Harris here was speaking about assault weapons and how Donald Trump, after one of the recent school shootings, told people they need to get over it. Watch.
It doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way.
This
but
way.
we need to have the courage to act. I mean, look, my opponent, when he was told and knew about a shooting of a young girl, you know what he said? Get over it. Get over it. No, we're not getting over it. No, and to the point, everyone should have a sense of collective responsibility for the children of our community.
Yes.
And understand their right to live and be safe. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I know, I've seen autopsies. I've seen what these weapons do to the human body. And we've got to agree that, in particular when we're talking about something like an assault weapon, it's literally designed to be a tool of war. It has no place on the streets of a civil society. It's designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Vice President Harris spoke about Trump's plan to implement a Trump sales tax, which would cost the average American more than $4,000 a year.
I'm 24 years old. I'm a graduate student living with my parents, and I want to move out next year and potentially buy a home. And I'm concerned about the affordability of one with the extra costs and bills that I'm paying now, along with the bills and costs I will pay in the future too. And so everything just has a cost and everything is so expensive. And so I'm worried about my capacity and how I'm able to fully support myself once I do live independently.
You sound like one of my daughter girls from South Africa graduated. She was like, I hate adulting. I hate adulting. This adulting isn't going so well. Yes.
Well, so first of all, congratulations on all the success you've already achieved. And it is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? You are working hard, you have goals, you have ambitions. And so part of it is, again, the $25,000 down payment assistance. Part of it is what we need to do to also push back against a very different vision for our country. Because look, in this election, there are two very different visions for our country. One, for me, that is focused on the future, including you, and another that is focused on the past. What Donald Trump, what my opponent plans on doing for the economy is doing what he did the last time he was president and giving another tax break for billionaires and the biggest corporations that would add $5 trillion to our deficit. And get this, he plans on doing what I call a Trump sales tax, which is basically he's going to put a 20% tax on everyday necessities that economists have estimated will cost the average American $4,000 more a year, which is why Goldman Sachs, which is why Moody's, which is why Wharton School of Business, which is why 16 Nobel laureates have collectively determined, after analyzing our plans, one, mine would strengthen the economy, his would weaken it. Two, that on his plan, he would actually blow up inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So when you think about the cost of living, my approach is about lifting you up. His would be about actually weakening our economy. And I feel very strongly when an individual, when a small business, when a family, when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you, Shelby.
Hey, I'm Brett Meiselas, co-founder of the MeidasTouch Network. One of the pieces of feedback that you've given me for the MeidasTouch Network is you want me to focus on climate change more. I totally agree, and here's how I think we do it. Let me just show you what Donald Trump said about climate change at a recent speech. Let's play this clip.
And you know, the time is coming up. Remember, they said we only have 12 years to live because the environment is going to kill us, right? That time is very close. Somehow I'm not worried. I am worried about nuclear because, to be honest with you, we have incompetent people dealing on it. You're going to end up in World War III. You're going to have a nuclear holocaust if we're not careful. These people have no idea. Our people have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, Donald Trump believes climate change is a hoax. He believes that because he's not talking about it and he believes it's a hoax, that nobody's talking about it anymore, which is totally false. Vice President Kamala Harris brought up climate change during the debate. Let's play it.
Well, the former president had said that climate change is a hoax. And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue.
So the contrast cannot be clearer, and I'm not really even being political about it. Donald Trump believes climate change is a hoax, doesn't think it's real. Vice President Kamala Harris takes it very seriously. As California's Attorney General, she secured millions in settlements from big oil for their environmental damage. She's met with over 100 global leaders championing the U.S. as a global climate change leader, and she's focused on bringing clean energy jobs. Good for the environment, good for the economy. So I want to keep giving some of these updates on climate. I hope you are enjoying them. Let's go back to our program, though.
Here's Kamala Harris speaking about the danger of the MAGA Republicans when it comes to abortion.
Prison for life in a couple of states for a doctor or a nurse who provides health care. And so it seems very apparent
even when the mother's life is in danger.
But see, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help?
Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
This is a powerful clip. It's the mother of Amber Nicole Thurman, who died after not receiving urgent care needed for an infection under Georgia's extreme abortion ban. This is her speaking out.
Amber's mother, Shanette, and older sisters CJ and Andrika are here, and they wanted to be here tonight to speak out for the first time. Ms. Shanette, what do you want us to know about Amber's story?
Initially, I did not want the public to know my pain. I wanted to go through in silence, but I realized that it was selfish. I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family. And we would have done whatever to get my baby, our baby, the help that she needed. When ProPublica came to my home, I pushed them away. No, but Kavithia, she was persistent. She said, it was something that you needed to know. You have to hear me. Women around the world, people around the world need to know that this was preventable. 2 years later, after speaking with my daughters, because I lost strength, I lost hope, you're looking at a mother that is broken. Mm-hmm. The worst pain ever that a mother, that a parent could ever feel. Her father and myself and the family, you're looking at it.
Well, we appreciate so deeply you being here.
And it's so true. These are not just statistics. These are people's lives. These are people who are desperately trying to get the health care that they need, health care that has been stripped away by Donald Trump and his Republican friends. Hadley Duval also spoke. You may remember her from the recent Kamala Harris ad featuring a Billie Eilish song. She also spoke at the DNC. She was impregnated and raped by her stepfather at age 12. She was able to get the care she needs, but now she is speaking out for those who are unable to. Check this out.
I can tell you, we are all standing up because we are so impressed by your courage to stand up and share your story. Where did that come from, the strength to do this? Because I'm sure you thought long and hard before deciding to go public with your story.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned,
Thanks, everybody.
I woke up with a harsh reality of My abuse was over, but my story is not. And I just could not fathom thinking about the other Hadleys out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to find courage and be the light for them, that's really what I do it for.
And so what do you want to say to other people who are voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means?
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care, because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are gonna be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice, and we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us.
All right. Is there something you wanted to say to Madam Vice President?
Madam Vice President, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for seeing us, for hearing us when the Supreme Court won't. Thank you for fighting and, you know, really showing us that life is not about the hard things that you go through. You don't bow down, even when you're the underdog, especially when you're the underdog.
That's right.
You stand up and you stand tall, and you give me so much hope and so much strength, and thank you.
Thank you, Hadley, for coming all this way.
As I mentioned earlier, this was a star-studded event. Julia Roberts was there, and she was speaking about her desire to be able to leave the country and have people say excitedly, "Oh, you're American," and not worry about how it's going over here. Check this out.
But this has become such a global representation of our country and what we stand for. And I get to travel internationally a lot. And I want people to say, "Oh, you're American," and not, "Oh, how's it going over there?" You know?
Yes.
So I want to get back to that space.
Exactly. Thank you, Julia.
Meryl Streep had a funny slip of the tongue here where she accidentally called Vice President Harris President Harris, and Vice President Harris corrected her, saying, "Just 47 days.
Hello, President Harris.
Not yet. 47 days.
47 days, yes.
From my mouth to God's ear. And hello, Oprah.
And what we've noticed is the Trump campaign still has no idea how to combat Kamala Harris. They had a whole playbook for President Biden, and it's completely been flipped on their heads. And so the Trump War Room account, which is an account run by the Trump campaign, posted this moment of Kamala Harris during this Oprah event, where she was speaking about that if someone were to break into her house, she's a gun owner and she would not be afraid to shoot an intruder. Let's play the clip first.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, yes. I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
It's almost like they're campaigning for Vice President Harris now. I think most Americans would agree with that. And it's funny when you even look at the comments under the Trump War Room account, you see even the Trump people saying, "What are you doing? This is going to make people like her." They really have no strategy. They are flailing. Once again, Vice President Kamala Harris brilliantly showed them up, turned the tables, just like she has been doing every single day. Hey, thank you for watching this. We really appreciate your support. Just like I said earlier, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get alerted for all of our updates. We do these videos throughout the day, and we also put them on our podcast feed, which is free. So make sure you add the MeidasTouch podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check out our store at store.MeidasTouch.com. We got some great pro-democracy gear that I know you're going to love. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.